So you get a 4 to 1 alpha to beta.
Excellent. That was great.
Yeah.
I work on things because I find the structures interesting. And are they unusual, and have they been more or less ignored by other people before? Glycomics is what we define as the study of the role of carbohydrates in biology. The sorts of carbohydrates I'm interested in are ones that are found on the surfaces of our cells. They tell other cells what kind of cells they are, they interact with viruses, they interact with bacteria. We can use that information to develop better diagnostics, develop possibly therapeutics, things of those sorts.
And he's been fantastically successful in research. He's done research on tuberculosis and identified an important enzyme that might be used as a drug candidate, and also on solid organ transplant. He pretty much hits the ball out of the park.
The U of A has, I think many people know, has had a long tradition in this area for well more than 50 years now. We're currently working with the Foundation for Innovative Diagnostics on trying to identify new antibodies that could be used in diagnostics for detecting TB in, for example, urine. It's not a problem that's ever gone away, and certainly in the developing world, it remains a serious problem.
Please welcome Todd Lowary.
We started to think about how we could sort of transform the success we had at the provincial level to a national level. Our vision is to try to develop technologies that can actually help improve the life of Canadians and, of course, other people around the world. The network itself is about 110, 115 now investigators across the country. We've got representatives at about close to 30 now different institutions across the country. I would say the most rewarding thing is when I sit down with my graduate students and postdocs and undergrads and talk science. When I get frustrated with things, it tends to be when I haven't had that opportunity to do that in a while. Usually I find if I can spend a few hours just sort of interacting with the kids about what they're doing, then I usually can be put into a pretty decent mood.
No matter how busy he gets, every day, at the end of the day, he walks around the lab, says goodbye to everyone, checks up on them, sees how their science is going. Whenever you had a problem, you could always go to him, and he's patient, and he kind of enjoys those challenges.
He's remarkable when he teaches undergraduates. Within the first couple weeks, he knows all of his students' names in a 100-person class. He's just a very relatable person for all of his gruff exterior.
I think Janine is the dictionary definition of a mensch. She is kind, smart, incredibly generous. You couldn't ask for a better colleague or a mentor or a friend. And she absolutely contributed to building the most diverse political science department in Canada, and I dare say the world. That is one of her stunning legacies.
When I look back on my career, I kind of consider it always, in social science research in general, as being in conversation with an always shifting social environment, trying to expose the interests and the question of who wins and who loses and who's excluded when a particular policy statement or a particular kind of construction of politics is articulated. And most importantly, to ask people to keep asking themselves, what is government for? What is our responsibility to each other? When I entered the discipline, there were no women. The political science was white, largely male, and largely focused on institutions. So throughout my career, I think what I've tried to do is kind of push at political science theory, or as a discipline, to be more inclusive of not only different identities, but different subject positions in a broader social milieu.
The miracle of Janine Brodie is her ability to take seemingly disparate small events and be able to string them together in a grand narrative that makes sense of what's going on in the world.
But still, the working class has a structural relationship with power.
It's just why students love her, right? Yeah. Because she can really make sense of things that they're really puzzling over.
There's a synergy there with the students that kind of keeps you on the edge of your chair all the time, because they're bringing questions and problems and issues that are relevant in their own lives.
It's like winning the lottery or something, like to kind of fall into that sort of relationship with somebody who is that successful and is that genuine. Her analytical and theoretical mind, her scholarship, her ability to sit there casually and say things that blow your mind. It's almost like magic. I don't know how she does it, really.